Teacher cuts off the wrong black girl's hair. Not knowing her father is a federal judge. Some stories make you angry. Some make you emotional. And then there are stories that make you sit up, lean closer to your screen, and whisper, "No way this is about to happen." Today's story is one of those. It is about power. It is about pride. It is about assumptions that were made too quickly, and consequences that arrived much faster than anyone expected. In many schools, rules are meant to create order. But sometimes, rules are used as weapons. Sometimes, they are enforced without compassion, without listening, and without remembering that behind every uniform is a human being with a family, a history, and a future. This is the story of a young black girl who walked into school expecting a normal day, and walked out with her dignity attacked, her heart bruised, and a storm quietly gathering behind her. Her teacher thought she was just another student. She thought she could act however she pleased. She thought there would be no consequences. But what she did not know was that this girl's father was not just anyone. He was a federal judge. And once he found out what happened to his daughter, everything changed. Sit back. Listen closely. Because this story starts softly. But it does not end that way. 14-year-old Aaliyah Carter stood in front of the bathroom mirror, smoothing her natural curls with a careful hand. Her hair was her pride, thick, soft coils that her mother had spent years teaching her how to love and care for. It wasn't straight. It wasn't relaxed. It wasn't braided that morning. It was simply her natural crown. She smiled at her reflection. "Okay," she whispered to herself. "You got this." It was picture day at Lincoln Ridge Middle School, and Aaliyah had chosen to wear her hair out. Her navy blue uniform was neat, her shoes polished, her backpack zipped just right. Everything about her said prepared, confident, and calm. What she didn't know was that her hair would become the center of a nightmare. The bell rang sharply as she stepped into the hallway. Students rushed past her, laughing, talking, complaining about tests and homework. Aaliyah walked toward her homeroom, unaware that someone was watching her from the doorway. Ms. Brenda Holloway. A tall woman in her late 40s with sharp glasses and a voice that could silence a room, Ms. Holloway had a reputation. Some students called her strict. Others called her mean. But one thing was certain, she enforced the school dress code like it was her personal law. Her eyes locked onto Aaliyah's hair. Her lips pressed into a thin line. "Aaliyah Carter," she called out. Aaliyah turned. "Yes, ma'am." "Come here." Aaliyah approached, her heart skipping just a little. "Is something wrong?" Ms. Holloway folded her arms. "Your hair is in violation of school policy." Aaliyah blinked. I don't understand." "Your hair is too big. It's distracting. It's unprofessional. And it is not appropriate for school." Aaliyah swallowed. "But it's just my natural hair." Ms. Holloway tilted her head. "I don't care what it is. It needs to be fixed." Aaliyah shook her head gently. "I can tie it back after class." "My mom." "No," Ms. Holloway snapped. "You will fix it now." She turned and walked down the hall, expecting Aaliyah to follow. Confused, embarrassed, and scared, Aaliyah trailed behind her. They entered the staff restroom. Ms. Holloway reached into a cabinet and pulled out a pair of scissors. Aaliyah froze. "Ma'am, why do you have scissors?" Ms. Holloway sighed loudly. "Because I am not going to have my classroom turned into a circus." "Sit." Aaliyah stepped back. "No. I don't feel comfortable." Ms. Holloway's voice dropped low and cold. "You are being disobedient. Sit. Now." Aaliyah's hands trembled. "Please, my mom does my hair. You can call her." "No," Ms. Holloway said flatly. "This will only take a second." Before Aaliyah could react, Miss Holloway grabbed a thick curl near the front of her head. Snip. The sound echoed in the small restroom. Aaliyah gasped. A dark coil of her hair fell to the sink. Her eyes filled instantly with tears. You cut my hair. And I will cut more if you don't sit still, Miss Holloway said calmly. Aaliyah backed away, clutching her head, her heart pounding like it might burst. Please, she whispered. Please don't. Miss Holloway frowned. Go to class. And when you come back, I expect the rest of this mess to be handled. Aaliyah stumbled out of the restroom, tears streaming down her face. Students stared. Some whispered. Some laughed. But Aaliyah didn't hear any of it. All she could hear was the snipping sound replaying in her head. She ran into the nearest empty stairwell and broke down. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. It was a text from her father. Dad, good luck today, princess. Love you. Her fingers shook as she typed back. Aaliyah, Daddy, something bad happened. Within minutes, her phone rang. Baby, her father's calm voice came through. What's wrong? Through sobs, she told him everything. The hallway. The scissors. The cut. There was a pause on the line. Then his voice changed, not loud, not angry, but dangerously calm. Did she touch you without permission? Yes, Daddy. Did she cut your hair? Yes. Stay right where you are, he said quietly. I'm coming. Aaliyah had no idea what that calm voice meant. But at Lincoln Ridge Middle School, a storm had just been set in motion. NMS. Holloway had absolutely no idea whose daughter she had just humiliated. The office of Lincoln Ridge Middle School had never been so quiet. The front desk secretary sat stiffly in her chair, fingers folded, eyes glued to the hallway. Even the buzzing fluorescent light seemed to hum more cautiously than usual. A few teachers whispered near the copy machine, peeking out every few seconds like children who had broken a rule and were waiting to be caught. Because everyone had just heard the same thing. A federal judge is on his way. And nobody knew why. Except one person. Ms. Brenda Holloway sat at her desk grading papers, unaware that her world was about to turn upside down. She scribbled red ink across a worksheet, muttering to herself. These kids don't listen anymore. No discipline. No respect. A sudden knock echoed against her classroom door. She sighed sharply. Come in. The door opened. Principal Raymond stepped in, his face pale, his tie slightly crooked. Ms. Holloway, he said carefully, I need you to come to the office immediately. She frowned. I'm in the middle of. Now, he repeated, voice firm. Ms. Holloway huffed, stood, and followed him down the hallway. Students stared as they passed. Some whispered. Some smirked. But she paid no attention. Until she saw him. Standing in the main office, tall, composed, dressed in a dark gray suit, was Judge Marcus Carter. Aaliyah sat beside him, her eyes red but her back straight. Her mother stood on the other side, holding her hand protectively. Ms. Holloway slowed her steps. Principal Raymond cleared his throat. Ms. Holloway, this is Mr. and Mrs. Carter. Judge Carter turned slowly. His eyes met hers. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't scowl. He simply spoke. My daughter says you cut her hair. Ms. Holloway blinked. I was enforcing school policy. Did you have permission? He asked. She hesitated. She was being disobedient. Did you have permission? He repeated. No, she admitted. Judge Carter nodded once. So you assaulted my child. The word assault seemed to suck the air out of the room. Principal Raymond's eyes widened. Now, Judge Carter, let's. My daughter is a minor, Judge Carter said calmly. You restrained her. You touched her. You used a sharp object on her body without consent. That is assault. Ms. Holloway scoffed nervously. You're exaggerating. Judge Carter leaned forward slightly. You are a public school employee. You are held to higher legal standards. Aaliyah's mother spoke softly but firmly. My daughter hasn't stopped crying since this happened. Aaliyah finally looked up. She scared me. Ms. Holloway shifted. I didn't mean to scare her. I was just. You were abusing your authority, Judge Carter said. Silence fell. Principal Raymond swallowed hard. Ms. Holloway, we are going to place you on immediate administrative leave. Her eyes widened. You can't do that. I can, he said. And I am. Judge Carter pulled out his phone. I've already contacted my legal counsel. Ms. Holloway's face drained of color. Additionally, Judge Carter continued, we will be filing a formal complaint with the school board, the district superintendent, and the state education department. You're ruining my career, Ms. Holloway whispered. You ruined it when you touched my daughter, he replied evenly. Aaliyah squeezed her mother's hand. Judge Carter knelt beside her. You did nothing wrong, sweetheart. She nodded, tears slipping down her cheeks. I'm proud of you for telling me. Later that afternoon, news spread like wildfire. By evening, the district had issued a statement. By the next morning, Ms. Holloway was officially suspended pending investigation. Parents flooded the school with calls. Some demanded justice. Others shared stories of similar behavior. Stories that had been buried for years finally came to light. A pattern emerged. And when the school board reviewed the footage from the hallway cameras, everything became clear. Ms. Holloway had cornered Aaliyah. She had pulled out the scissors. She had cut her hair. There was no denying it. 2 weeks later, Ms. Holloway was terminated. Her teaching license was placed under review. And Judge Carter filed a civil lawsuit on behalf of his daughter. The settlement was quiet. But the message was loud. Aaliyah returned to school wearing her hair proudly in fresh braids. Her head held high. Her smile cautious, but growing stronger each day. Some students clapped when she walked into class. Others whispered, "That's the girl." And for the first time, Aaliyah didn't feel small. She felt powerful. Not because of who her father was, but because she had learned her voice mattered. If this story moved you, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss stories that expose injustice and celebrate courage. Your support keeps these stories alive.